much of this should you spend on a project car, on a budget-minded project car? I think I am uniquely qualified to talk about this because I am completely incapable of maintaining a budget. I am completely incapable of doing something on a budget, and I am honest about it. I know myself, and I'm bad about it. It's not hard to find other YouTubers that do this. Cletus McFarland, Whistling Diesel, all those boys that with these big bag crazy projects, Over the Top, Hoovie's Garage, and Tavarish, and all these dudes. It's very, very easy to find YouTubers that are out there doing these huge, extravagant, expensive builds that really are not something that we can relate to as normal people. And I'll consider myself in the normal people category. At least so far, I'm not a millionaire. But you can see this 1979 AMC Spirit AMX behind me, and it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I bought this car for $1,700 a number of years ago, pulled it out of a gentleman's yard in southern Ohio. It had a spare engine with it, and it had a spare transmission with it. I bought it for $1,700 with the intention to be able to get it up and driving for $2,500 all in, other than wheels and tires. I ordered $800 worth of parts, mostly off of Rock Auto, and I begged, borrowed, and stole everything else I could possibly do to be able to get this car up and running. Unfortunately, the motor that I got was a spare motor for this thing, wasn't in good condition, and I needed to end up doing a rebuild. So while I was at a $2,500 purchase price, all in with all of my parts, I ended up having to build a motor for it, which was like another $4,000 or $5,000. So I've got $6,000 or $7,000 in it, plus tires, plus everything else I've got in it. Then I built another motor for it, which I've got sitting on an engine stand in there. So that's another $5,000 that's sitting there. So all in on my $1,700 project car, I mean, 12-ish, somewhere in that range. And that's not my only project car I have. Not even the only project car I have here at the shop at Lucor Automotive. I have other project cars that I have purchased that I have done the same kind of thing with, where I have had a great idea, I've had a budget in mind, and then I blew it right the heck out the water. This car I've done a pretty good job with. I haven't spent too much money on this. This thing, yeah, it's close, it's close. This one, not even vaguely close. Not even vaguely close to being still on budget. And I think that's part of the problem that we have as car people, as car guys, excuse me if you're a car lady, is we have a grand plan and we have something that we're gonna do, and then we decide mid-path, or maybe once we finish it, that that's just not enough. We got to go for more. We got to spend more money. We got to spend more, go faster, make louder. My 1970 Le Mans. I have reasonably left that car alone. After I bought it for about $6,000 a number of years ago, it was a 455 Turbo 350 Pontiac 10-bolt. I've genuinely kind of left it as I found it. Other than a slight rebuild on the transmission and a $14,000 motor under the hood and a fully rebuilt rear end, I've kind of left it budget-minded, but easily got $20,000 wrapped up in that car. And I want to talk about that because I think us as YouTubers are really coloring the project car world in a kind of a bad situation. And I think we've gotten to the point where it's actually kind of, we're getting negative returns now. We're all chasing that golden ring. We're all keeping up with the Joneses, where we're trying to build the next biggest thing, the next greatest, fastest, most amazing, most outrageous burnout car, whatever. And we're spending vast quantities of money that a lot of times we really don't have. Now, as YouTubers, especially as you get larger and larger, you do get parts given to you. You are an influencer. You do get parts that are given to you by sponsors, whether that's fuel injection stuff or suspension stuff or brake stuff or whatever it is. A lot of times you will have partners that come on board with you that will help you on a project build, that will help you move things forward without spending a ton of money on it. And that's extremely, extremely important, because that way you're not coming out of money out of your own pocket. But it also does kind of color the situation when you realize that some of the stuff that you're watching on YouTube isn't something that they're paying for right out of pocket, that they're getting some of this stuff for free, or in some cases, all of it for free. So what they're doing, where they're spending $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 on a budget car, out of their own pockets, they're not spending nearly that. But if you were to build it, you absolutely would be spending that kind of money. So it's kind of gotten to the point where I feel like we're doing a little bit of a disservice as YouTubers, and we are making the project car budget project kind of a bad situation for a lot of folks that are out there right now, and they're trying to keep up with folks that they just flat out can't do. Now also, let's be honest here, a lot of us, and I will definitely include myself on this, are not real good at financial good decisions. You've seen a lot of my financial bad decisions in the background. Bought that car for ish, spent a ton of money getting it back here, also gonna spend a whole bunch more money to get it up and running, get it on the track. Bought this car for $3 grand, I think, something like that. Ended up having a bad transmission, bad engine, bad rear end, bad floors, bad trunk, bad frame rails. I'm gonna have, God only knows how much money wrapped up in that. This thing we bought a number of years ago. It's a turbo 5-speed manual LS swapped pick-em-up truck. Cool, not doing anything with it. Spent a bunch of money on it. We are as guilty or more guilty than you guys are, because we as content creators are always constantly searching for that next thing that's gonna get clicks, that's gonna get people interested, that's gonna get people engaged and help drive our metrics. It's gonna help lift our channels to that next level, so we're spending tons and tons of money to do it. Now that's a way to go broke. I'll be honest with you, that's a way to go broke. I myself shared something on Facebook the other day where I literally just took a screenshot of how much my channel has earned over the last year. And I'm a 9,300 subscriber channel at this point in time. It's 1 year old. I hit my 1 year anniversary. I took a screenshot, I posted it up, and I made a little bit over $5,000 in the last 365 days of my channel being out. Little over $5,000. And how much money do you think I spent on my project cars and things over that same 365 days? We won't do the math, but let's just say it's a bit more than $5,000. Now I know a lot of you guys are gonna say, well, you would have done that anyway. Yeah, maybe. I would spend money, absolutely. I've had this car since before I did YouTube-y stuff, and I did spend money on it before I did YouTube-y stuff. But the problem is when you do YouTube-y stuff is your pacing is completely different than normal people. Your pacing is much faster. Most of the time, at least for you semi-intelligent folks out there, you're going to do a project build and you're going to spend on it as you can spend on it. As you make, you spend. As you make, you spend. You get a little extra scratch in your pocket, you get a bonus check, you get an overtime, whatever it is, you buy that part, that piece, that thing, to move your project forward. Well, us here in the YouTube space, that doesn't work that way. We've got to keep the project rolling. We got to keep the content coming out to keep people engaged, which means we have to constantly be spending money and keeping that thing moving. Whether or not we're making that money, we're spending that money. And a lot of times it gets to the point where you're spending yourself so fast and so far that you're spending yourself into debt and ruining your own life because you're chasing that golden ring as a YouTube creator, or as somebody who's trying to keep up with a YouTube creator on your content. And it's something that I think we also honestly need to be talking about, is we have kind of ruined the idea of a cheap budget car, a cheap budget project. Most of us are probably guilty of this. Most of you who watch my channel or who watch Automotive YouTube probably know what I'm talking about. And I think it's something that we probably need to kind of draw back a little bit with, especially as the prices of things are really in flux right now, and we don't know how much things are going to cost over the next couple weeks, days, months. It's going to get more expensive. It's going to get more and more difficult to buy these cars. So just even to find something like that to be able to start with. You know, these things were dirt cheap when I bought mine. Now we have 3 of them, and they are not dirt cheap. Same thing with a lot of different platforms. Your square body trucks, you know, you used to be able to buy a square body truck for nothing, or a S10 pick-em-up truck. You could buy those things for absolutely nothing 15, 20 years ago, and now they're worth a mint. You see S10s that are selling for more than S10s that sold brand new. And it's all over the place. It's becoming harder and harder and harder for people to be able to pick up project cars, to even start, to even have a platform to work from. And then you've got to spend a bunch of money. And heaven forbid that you're trying to build something to be competitive with, that you're trying to go out and do race car stuff with. This little Fox body we bought as a parts car to be able to fix something else a number of years ago with another project. And it's a pretty clean Fox body. It's got a 2.3 turbo under the hood. It's got a 5-speed. It's got an 8.8 rear end. It's got a 5-lug conversion. You know, it's a decent car, but it's nothing crazy. It's a Fox body, but it's now worth 3 times what we paid for it. Even as a roller, if we took everything out of it and let you put your own pieces in it, we'd still get more out of that thing than we did when we bought it as a complete car. And it's kind of gotten to that point where, as this project car world has moved on, we've gotten further and further away from just spend what you need to spend to have some fun with it. As we've moved that goalpost further and further, it's got to be more over the top. It's got to make more power. It's got to do bigger burnouts. It's got to, who knows what, whatever your genre is, there's all kinds of little things that are in there that make those prices continue to climb and climb and climb and climb. And I think it's kind of one of those things that I wish we could kind of go backwards on, to be honest with you. I wish we could get more budget project stuff, like real budget project, like $5,000 projects, all in $5,000. You buy the car, you do the things, you upgrade the stuff, and you go out and you do it. Cletus McFarland did some of this with Sick Week, and I'm glad that he did it because it really kind of refocused a lot of attention on sometimes you could just find those little nuggets that are out there and do a couple of things and be able to have a good time with them. Now, obviously, all of us realize that their budgeting is not exactly up to snuff, but the spirit of it is correct, and I like that. That's one of the reasons I started the 2,500 situation. Was myself and some friends spend $2,500 a piece on cars and then go on an epic guys road trip. It's been fantastic. Every single year we've done it, it's been fantastic. Even when we maybe lost a car along the way from 8,000 RPM shifts up a mountainside, or hitting a tire in the middle of the road in the middle of nowhere and blowing a fuel pump out of a Mercedes. There's memories that you're gonna make on those road trips that are fantastic. And when you're not spending tons of money on it, it's even better, because it's not gonna ruin you if you happen to totally ruin the car. If things go completely tits up, you're still okay. Versus if you buy a, $5,000 roller, you spend $20,000 making it, and then it melts down on Power Tour. Power Tour is effectively 30 days away from right now as I'm filming this. And some of the things that I love seeing most on Power Tour are those really budget-minded hot rods, where people are they're beg, borrowing, and stealing, they're scavenging, they're hitting the junkyards, they're doing everything they possibly can to bring something up, bring something back to life that's been sitting around and it hasn't been used in a long time. And that's the hot rodder world. That's the way that hot rodding used to be. We have definitely gotten spoiled in our business where we can get, or depending on the platform, get all kinds of really nice aftermarket parts. And we've forgotten about a lot of how hot rodding began with stealing parts off of other cars to be able to make your car better. Plus OEM bonus your own personal car based on what you could find. Now we can just get online and click and order a whole bunch of parts. And I think it's kind of one of those things that I'd love to see coming back. I would love to maybe even create some kind of I don't want to call it a series, but maybe kind of an event where we all focus on cheaper cars, cheaper project cars, like $10,000 tops, all in, buy the car, do all the builds, and get together and do a road trip together on something that's $10,000 or less. It's a lot of fun. It's a great time. And I promise you, a lot of the people that you meet on budget type stuff are some of the coolest, most interesting, sometimes smartest people, or the other end of that you'll ever meet. Because it takes a certain kind of person to go after that kind of thing, to be able to tackle that kind of project and want to actually do that. Now, obviously, you're going to see my lady's 1973 Dodge Charger right back here in the corner. And that is a project that I absolutely need to get on, and I need to get that thing ready to go for Power Tour, or she's going to scalp me. But we are a hilarious amount of money deep into that car. Just like all other things, when you're doing old school hot rodding, they are expensive to do it. But there's still a lot of little nuggets that are out there that you can buy, that you can enjoy. And I think it could be an interesting thing. And I would be willing to do a little bit of organization for that kind of stuff. If you guys are interested in it, I think it'd be kind of neat to be able to set up kind of the Hoopty, the Great Hoopty Challenge, or something along those lines. The Great Hoopty Road Trip, where we go out and we take a bunch of hot rods that we've got no money in, or just old beat up projects that are fun to drive that we get to enjoy, and go out there on the open roads and have a good time with them. Maybe go to a racetrack, see who's what and what can do what. Maybe that makes a lot of sense. Maybe it doesn't. But I want to focus. I want to refocus on things that are that way. And I'm trying to do my best to not be obscenely over the top as far as the YouTuber goes. Now, also, let's be honest, I don't make that much money. I don't have tens of thousands of dollars to throw at things. I just physically can't do that. And I think, honestly, I like the fact that I can't. Because the more you spend, the faster and faster you no longer connect with your audience, with your normal blue-collar Joe Schmo, built it himself in his garage kind of thing. A lot of YouTuber channels are selling tons and tons and tons of merch. They're bringing out new stuff all the time. They're buying new cars all the time. They're upgrading things all the time. They're spending tens of thousands of dollars a month to be able to keep up with the Joneses. And it's a rat race, man. It is a rat race. It also, in my mind, gets a little questionable when you're trying to constantly lean on your viewership to buy more merch, to be able to support the habit and be able to drive things on. YouTube pays us pretty well, to be honest with you. It does pay pretty well, especially compared to all the other platforms that are out there. It pays very, very well. But even with a channel that gets, let's call it 100,000 views a video. 100,000 views a video, depending on the channel, is gonna get somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000 for that video. So if you didn't make what you spent for that video, you're in the negative. You're already in the red. So what do you do on the next one? So what do you do on the next one? And if you keep doing that, if you keep running that up, the math ain't gonna math, boys. It's not gonna math. And that's with us as YouTubers, not you guys that are just trying to do it normally. So it does put you into a pigeonholed situation where you have to keep selling things to your subscribers or to your viewers to be able to fund what you're trying to do. And I get it that that's part of the game, and I'm gonna probably do the same thing myself, where I need to sell merch in order to be able to finish off some of my projects that are sitting around here to be able to get things going. But I want to try to keep it really budget-minded and not end up in that situation where I'm building things that are just awesome, but ungodly expensive and not something that the blue-collar Joe Schmo can relate to. Am I on the right track here? Does this make sense? I saw something about this on another YouTube channel the other day, and they were talking about how automotive YouTubers have completely lost touch with the reality. And it kind of hit me pretty close to home, because I'll be honest, I kind of agree with you. I do. I think it's not just the car builds thing, but it's also the racing thing. That we've moved things so far, so fast. Over the last 10 years, the things that used to be fast 10 years ago aren't even vaguely considered fast today, let alone the stuff that we built in the early 2000s or in the 90s. If you build a hot rod in the 90s, it's not anything. Unless you're doing bracket racing, it's not anything compared to what you're going to be able to build now. And you're going to be able to build it cheaper when you're going something that's an LS powered or something along those lines. I don't know. You guys tell me, what do you think? Does this make sense? Am I just an old guy complaining and screaming at the beautiful cloudless sky here in Central Ohio? Or am I onto something here? What do we do about it? What do you guys think? Would it be cool to see people focusing more on the $5,000 to $10,000 projects? Is that kind of the sweet spot for you guys, or do you actually have more enjoyment where you see somebody building a $100,000, $200,000 hot rod that's got perfect paint that they aren't going to drive anywhere, that's got a massively expensive drivetrain in it that's not really useful as far as an actual drivable vehicle? It's just a pure on for show kind of thing, or for go kind of thing. Can't do much of anything else. Is that interesting to you, or do you prefer stuff that's more attainable, more normal people kind of stuff? I know for me, I prefer the more normal type of stuff. Also, what do you think about my road trip idea? I kind of think it might be neat. I've done this 2,500 road trip with a number of my friends over the years, and we have done everything. We went up north, almost all the way up to Canada, across the UP, across Minnesota, and then back down. We did one down to Cletus McFarland's place, down at the Freedom Factory. We've done a number of these. We went out to Devil's Tower, Wyoming on one. Would it be something that you guys are interested in, is if we set up some kind of a way for people to hold each other accountable on project builds? If we were going to say set a budget on a build, and say, this is the X amount of money you're supposed to, you can spend, and you have to log in and log your parts. Obviously we can't count labor, but log your parts on what you spent to keep everything kind of on even keel. Would it be interesting? Would you guys be interested in that? And then we all decide to get together in a fall road trip and go on a, I don't know, 1,000-mile adventure. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, something like that. Maybe it's a 500-mile adventure, whatever. I'm open to options. I'm open to ideas. I'm just kind of curious with you guys, because I think a lot of people are starting to understand the fact that similar while you see so many people that are now focusing on drag and drive, after I've been saying this for years, or on actual pump gas builds. Build stuff that you could enjoy, that you could go out and drive and enjoy, other than just going to the racetrack, going fast and putting it back in the trailer. Doing it on $6 a gallon gas or $20 a gallon gas or poor man's race gas or whatever it is, and then putting it back in the trailer. Or having to map yourself specifically to E85 stations everywhere you go, because otherwise your motor's gonna blow up if you put 91 octane in it. People are starting to kind of understand that. I'm glad to see that, and I would like to see more people getting out there and enjoying their cars. I would like to give people an opportunity to be able to build stuff for a certain thing. Would it be cool to have a $10,000 class where we travel around to different racetracks and we have different races at different tracks with people that are verified to have $10,000 or less in their ride, or $5,000 or less in their ride? Is it interesting to you guys? Is it something you'd want to see? Is it something you'd want to participate in? Let me know. It's a beautiful day here in Central Ohio. I hope you're having a lot of fun. Hope you're doing something fun on the weekend. I have a bunch of work to get done, and I got we've been using the brand new lady truck, the Lincoln Navigator, that is not mine. It's Lincoln. It's Katrina's. I've been using the Lincoln Navigator to go do some stuff today. She's out doing crafty stuff today, so I'm in the shop, going to do a little bit more work on that thing, get a couple things cleaned up and get her all tidied up. But you know, it's a great way to spend a day, I guess. Get back out there in the garage and do your work. Let me know what you guys think. This is Automotive Adventures with Austin. Obviously, I'm not going on an adventure today, but I'm thinking about adventures. And I do mostly focus on automotive stuff, my own projects, and that kind of stuff. I've got a lot of engine building stuff coming up available. Obviously here, McVeigh's, I got some parts that I got to take to Bob. I've got my camshaft that's in the back of this. He's got some project stuff that's being moving forward on my Pontiac engines. Actually the one for that car and that gray one that I showed you in the backyard. I've got my AMC 360 torn down. It's ready to rock and roll. I got to get that up to him. But we're rapidly entering race car season and fun car season and road trip season. So it's going to be hard to see how much stuff we can move forward, how quickly. But I'll do my best to keep things moving forward and keeping you guys entertained. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, click on the subscribe button. It'd be great to see you again or on another video. If you've been here for other videos of mine, thank you very much. I truly do appreciate it. You guys watching my stuff is what helps me pay to do my stuff. So thank you guys so much. Hope to see you again on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.